He is a phenomenal man. To me, Michael is a true Renaissance man because he happens to be a businessman, and he's also a professor, and he's also an Eagle Scout. And he just happens to be brilliant in all of these three things. Under his leadership, the company that he runs, ArchonOne, has done tremendous growth, and they've done it without getting any investors' money or going into debt. They are a technological consultancy firm, and then he also teaches technology in this university. And then he is a phenomenal speaker, and he has some really interesting ideas on charity, where you can give something that you already have, and this is going to cost you nothing, and you will turn the world for the better. Michael Silva.
All right. We only have one life to live, right? Does anybody think differently? No, because honestly, if you do, I have a really good business idea for us after this talk. Truthfully, I believe that time is the most valuable asset on earth. And I believe that you can exchange anything in the world for time. People's salaries are based on time. You can charge by the hour, but you can only spend time once. So for that, I want to start by expressing my gratitude to you for being here. Today's talk is not about me, it's about you. And I want to start by thanking you for taking what I think is your most valuable asset and choosing to be here with me today. You could have done anything in the world today. You could have been out with your friends, children, whatever, right? Working out. You chose to be here with me today. So for that, I'm grateful to you. And now I'm going to tell you a fun story about my childhood that will take about 30 seconds and probably make you guys laugh. Is there anybody that doesn't want to hear the childhood story? There's been a couple today, but the speakers today have been phenomenal. So when I was a young boy, I had the best cheeseburger of my entire life. See, my father loved to challenge me and wanted to give me things to help grow, and he knew that I loved swimming. So one day, after going to the same pool that I had gone to for many years prior, he says, "Son, you see that high dive board up there?" And this is, of course, before the really high dive boards were taken down for insurance reasons, right? You guys remember those? So before my innocent young mind could connect what was actually about to happen, I go, "Oh yeah, Dad, yeah, what about it?" And he goes, "Well, son, sometimes in life, you need to be pushed beyond your comfort zone to succeed." Yeah, so I'm sure you probably guessed what happened next, right? So a few minutes later, and about 60 seconds of hang time, I released the world's largest cannonball for a 10-year-old. Guess what my reward was? Anyway, today, I'm happily married, and I have 2 sons under 2 years old, and unfortunately, I won't be able to bring them to that high dive board because it's conspicuously gone missing. Advance on the slide here. So, that aside, I wanted to speak to you guys about something that I think could be really helpful for you, for your family, for your community. And I want to share a very powerful experience that I had when I was with my brothers when I was younger. This is something that helped to mold me into the man that I am today and taught me an incredible life lesson that I'm here to share with you this morning. My 2 younger brothers here, these are Ryan and Chris, they are 2 of my best friends today. I'm very proud to say that. I'm extremely grateful for the time that I had growing up with them and the experiences that I shared with them. And this is a quick photo of us, which was taken not too long after color photography became popular, and also back when I had hair. I'm 35 now, by the way. So a couple of you guys are smiling, and I think you put the pieces together. This is me in my Boy Scout uniform. This is Troop 97 off Long Island. I was in the Boy Scouts. I spent around 15 years, long years, but fun years, in a fantastic troop environment. But being in the Boy Scouts is not the lesson that I wanted to share with you today. It's what the Boy Scouts taught me, and this is what I'm hoping that you can leave this talk thinking about. So, you see, I learned that being challenged beyond my comfort zone was actually just the beginning of becoming a stronger person. My real strength that I learned later in life was learning how to give back. Now, I'm sure that all of you have had a challenging experience at some point in your life. And for some of you, that may have been a challenge that you didn't see coming at the time. Come to think of it, I probably should have seen that high dive board. Had been there for a while. Anyways, so before we go any further, I did mention this talk was about you, so I want to take some of the time that we have together here to think back to a time in your life when you were truly and deeply challenged with something. So let's go ahead and think about it for a moment. Maybe we'll take 10 seconds or so. And I want you to just dig back and think back to yourself. What was one of your biggest life challenges? Okay, did anybody say I got up without my alarm this morning? That many? Oh, sweet. It's more than I expected. Congrats. All right, well, for everybody else, chances are excellent that whatever experience you had there made you stronger today. And in fact, you're probably stronger than most people you meet who didn't have that same experience. So here's my fundamental thought to you. How can you use that experience to make yourself, your community, and your future safer, stronger, and healthier? For me, it was becoming an Eagle Scout. That was that all-encompassing challenge. I can't tell you how many camping trips we went on, troop meetings, and nights at home on merit badge work between when I first started as the lowest ranking Weeblo Scout to finally achieving Eagle. But I can tell you that it taught me an incredible life lesson on leadership, dedication to a cause, and perseverance under duress. So my 18th birthday, when I was unofficially ejected from the Boy Scouts, I entered this strange phase of young adulthood where I was no longer technically a Boy Scout, but I was still too young to have a boy of my own in the troop. So some folks that I talk to refer to this as growing up. After spending the next 4.5 years studying information technology in beautiful upstate Troy, New York, I was fortunate enough to work at a number of Fortune 500 companies before starting ArchonOne, which is now one of the most well-respected IT advisory companies in New York City. I started my company with one objective in mind: helping other people achieve their goals. And along the way, I was exposed to formidable challenges. I found that most people who had taken the time to help me as a boy, those thoughts went through my mind as I experienced these challenging situations. And I won't bore you too much with my work in that regard, but I will tell you that it buttoned up one thing pretty tightly for us, and that was our ability to deliver on our commitments. I believe that my word is my bond, and my company is an extension of that, so it's something that I take very seriously. So some time ago, while I was walking to a local burger joint, take some takeout, I got a call from someone who claimed to be from the Boy Scouts, inviting me to an executive breakfast the following morning. Now, like you guys, I regularly get emails from people trying to send me, get me to send money to other countries and buy products and land that don't exist. So, at first I was a little caught off guard. It turned out it was fully legit, and I was actually very humbled to be invited back into the scouting organization. And I'm still not sure how they found me, but either way, they wanted my help running a fundraiser the following year. So this is actually the moment where the light bulb went off for me, right? This was that moment in my life. I realized that I had been training for years to make our company profitable, to make profit for myself, to being able to hone these skills, to become stronger at this. And I finally had an opportunity to do the same thing for an organization that had helped me so much in my life. And to date, we've been very successful helping the Boy Scouts in that regard. And we remain committed and active in running fun and profitable events for them. And it's something that gives me a really deep personal sense of satisfaction. So I believe that we have a moral obligation to use our strengths to help those who need help or those who cannot help themselves. I also believe that it's important to keep yourself strong so you can find new opportunities and ways to help people that you may not be capable of today. So let's go back to your challenging experience for a minute. How can you use your experience to help strengthen others as an act of charity? Right, this is my main question to you. One day you may be on the receiving end of this. Right? You might find yourself weak, maybe weaker than you'd like to admit. So when 100 other people come to you, when you're not as strong as you are today, and they say, please, let me help you, this is my charitable act today, how will you feel? And what if you knew that you were in some small way responsible for helping them get to the place where they could even ask you that question? How would you feel then? So this is what I call the charitable feedback loop. This is the model that I wanted to share with you today. You use your skills to help influence and support others. Others are influenced and supported, and then learn new skills to build confidence. So similarly to the way that we did this with the Scouts, running profitable projects, turning that back around again, getting the leadership skills, from being able to grow into that, to then loop that back around into giving back to the same organization that helped train me to be in that position. This is what I'm challenging you to think about with your life. Right? Your donation doesn't have to be monetary. Those are great. But think about the experience that you have. So you see, even if you remain at the peak of your strength for your entire life, giving a little bit of your strength to people who would otherwise find it challenging creates ripples of change, positive and meaningful change that cannot be pulled back. You will truly make the world a better place than you had before. So let's move on to the last part here. The Scouts taught me a lesson that I needed to start a company, that gave me the skills that I needed to successfully run projects, that then gave me the foundation I needed to run successful fundraising events to help the Scouts train new Boy Scouts. That's my charitable feedback loop. So I want you to take your personal experience today and think about how you can do something similar. And I'll leave you with one final thought. My grandfather had a life perspective that he passed on to his son, who passed it on to me. So from my grandfather's heart and mind to my father's and now to mine, I will tell you the definition of success is the positive impact you have in the lives of others. This is what I believe, and this is why I'm here. If every one of you, or even one of you, leaves today and finds a way for you to use your strength to help others, then I will have succeeded in my time spent here today. So in closing, I'll leave you with this one final thought. Think to yourself today and for the rest of your lives, how can I use what comes naturally and easily to me to help those who cannot easily help themselves?